Welcome to Kern County Library's Local History Room. My name is Raymond Davis. I'm a library associate here with Kern County. First off, I'd like to thank Lynn Kramer, our librarian Lynn Kimmer, and our co-collaborator Maria Slaughter for coordinating and programming the event today. Also, I want to thank everybody that's here right now for coming today as well. Our local history room reopened in December of last year, and we're excited to provide access to Kern County's to be able to provide access to Kern County's history and assist people with reading or research, as well as lift up the voices of our community members through innovative programming. The library also provides space to the Kern County Genealogical Society right next door, and they specialize in providing expert family research assistance. We are the archive for the Bakersfield Californian and provide access via newspaper archive database and microfilm holdings. We also have photographs, maps, directories, and books, some written by local authors and all about Kern County's history. Our local history programs are meant to bring our community members together across cultural divides to support learning and literacy. And thank you all for being a part of it. Today we're hosting a local author who will be talking about his award-winning book titled Unbelievable, The Life Journey of Art Williams, baseball's first Black National Baseball League umpire, as well as screening the highly acclaimed companion documentary short, Unbelievable, The Art Williams Story. Also, at the end of the program, we'll have a raffle to give away 2 books that will be signed by the author. And now I'd like to talk about our honored guest and speaker today, Dr. Audie Williams. Dr. Williams received a PhD from the University of California, Santa Barbara, a master's degree from California Polytechnic University, San Luis Obispo, a bachelor's degree from Cal State University, Fresno, and an associate arts degree from Bakersfield Junior College. Dr. Williams' professional career spans serving as administrator of adult and continuation schools, coordinator of specially funded programs, dean of students, counselor, head varsity baseball coach, assistant varsity girls basketball coach, high school and junior college instructor, and middle school physical education coach. While holding the position of dean of students at a local high school and completing his dissertation, Dr. Williams wrote and implemented an in-school suspension program that was adopted by the district. Dr. Williams has also worked on several organization committees and participated as master of ceremonies for various events and as a workshop presenter for both at state and local levels. Additionally, for years, Dr. Williams traveled to historically Black colleges and universities to interview and recruit Black teaching candidates for the Kern County High School District. Since retiring, Dr. Williams has substituted at local middle schools in the roles as teacher, vice principal, and principal. His community involvement has included being a YCA board member and volunteering with the Red Cross and also with the Kern County Sheriff's Department. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Audie Williams.
Thank you, Raymond, for that introduction. And first of all, I can share that this is a very special day for my family and I, because today would have been my Art's 90th birthday. So, you know, it's a fantastic day for me and the rest of my family. I would like to first of all also thank Lynn for allowing me the opportunity to share the life journey of my brother, Art Williams, who, as you already know, was the first baseball National League Black umpire. And I was blessed with the opportunity to be with him on many occasions during his umpiring career. There's a story I could tell, but it would take a long time, so I don't want to hold you guys that long. First one. Okay, this is Papa and Mama, and this is where our family history began with the blessing of God. They met in a cotton field while picking cotton and rows next to each other in Camden, Arkansas. They said my dad looked up while Mom looked down at him, and magic happened. So they got together. They were together for quite a while. My dad now he graduated. He quit school in the 5th grade to help take care of his 5 siblings. And when they met, my dad was 16. Mama was 27. So, but she told us that she knew what she wanted and she got it. She had 2 kids from her previous marriage. Idella was 1 and Bdella, which was 4. Like I say, they eventually got married. They started courting and eventually got married quick. And to that union, there were added 5 more siblings. Who was it now? Okay, it was Merle, Merlene, Curtis, Art, Lily, and yours truly. I guess you figured out I'm the baby of the family. Anyway, next one here, please. Okay, now Art was born on February the 24th, 1934, in a rickety old cabin that sat on a parcel of land that Papa, Mama, and his other siblings were sharecropping. When Art first came into this world, he was immediately subjected to disharmony, misunderstanding, and love. At no fault of his, Art had the features of a white baby: thin lips, blue eyes, long hair, pale skin. And when the midwife first laid eyes upon him, she was shocked. And when he handed Art to Mama, Mama was momentarily shocked too. But quickly, she recovered and held Art lovingly by her chest. And when Papa came in, all hell broke out. He looked at Art. The nurse, the midwife, had gently taken Art from Mama and was going to give him to Papa. Papa said, "No way, because he's not mine." So he just went around the midwife and went straight to the bed where Mama was. And God, they started yelling at each other from the top of their lungs. I was told that nobody could understand each other because they were just yelling so loud. My Papa was accusing Mama of cheating, and Mama was telling him, get out, So Papa aggressively walked past the midwife, went out the bedroom door, slammed it behind him, and standing by the door was the rest of his kids, Art's siblings. He didn't say anything to them. He just went on out the front door and slammed it too. And when Mama had heard the front door slam, she beckoned the kids to come in, and they so happy to meet their brother. I mean, they patiently stood in line and waited their turn, and they just gave him all kind of hugs and kisses and stuff. They showed him a lot of love, and they didn't even pay attention to his pigmentation or how he looked at all. Anyway, Art had a brutal life of extreme hardships, poverty, and racism, but he prevailed. Right after high school, his life would change a little bit. In 1953, he became the first black pitcher standing in a major league park in front of thousands of fans. Unfortunately, that dream was curtailed due to a career-ending injury, arm injury. But he stayed in contact with his dreams. And fortunately, his hard work and determination eventually paid off. and he was able to fulfill his dream of being on a major league team. Major league ballpark, not as a hard throwing right-hand pitcher, but as a first black umpire in the National Baseball League. But sadly, on February 8th, 1979, at the age of 44, Art passed away from complications associated with tumor on his pituitary gland. Before passing, Art and I had a private conversation, and he was sharing with me that not to worry about him, that he would be okay, that he had a good life, and he told me, he said, now, if I come out of the surgery looking funny, I don't want to stay here, you know. And I understood when I saw him at the surgery, he didn't look like himself, you know. So, let's see. This is the next slide here. No, yeah, this is. Oh, furthermore, after Art and I had a private conversation, and since I was from a Christian family, my dad was a preacher, it was still hard for me to accept what he said, you know, because he was my big brother and my best friend. So, you know, it was very difficult for me to accept that. Meanwhile, I continue having feelings of anxiety about my big brother, and I did not realize that what I was going through was really affecting my family, my two daughters and my wife Dodie. Dodie was constantly asking me, you know, are you all right? Are you all right? And I felt that the common thing I should say is yes, get off my back. But you know, I realized that also that they were having some problems by looking at me when I was saying I'm all right, because they could see the hurt on my face. So I couldn't hide that. So Dodie eventually approached me about a way that I can possibly deal with my pain. And she said, I said, what is that? She said, write a book about his life. I said, about his life? He said, yes. He said, it might help you deal with some of the things that you're going through. So, first of all, I decided, well, I'm gonna do a little research and see what's out there on my brother. So I did the research, and lo and behold, I found only about 4 sentences about his life, you know, from rising to being the first black umpire. It just was 4 sentences. So I said, oh no, this is not gonna work. So I started talking to my older brother and sister, Merle and Curtis, and gathering all, they gave me a lot of information about family history, you know, part that Art played in it. Some I recognized and remembered, most I didn't. It was really educational to me. So in 1999, I started putting pencil to paper, and I had very difficult time writing that book because of the contents. I would write some things that happened in our family, and tears would start coming to my eyes. My wife came up to me many times and wiped tears in my eyes, and she would tell me, walk away, you know, put the pencil down, walk away, and I did. She was a pillar for me, and she was very involved in that book. You know, there were some things that I had problems exposing. I didn't want people to know about that, some of those things. And my wife, Dodie, told me, she said, look, you are writing a book about your brother. You gotta be honest. You gotta tell it like it was and like it is. So I did what she said, you know, but we can't imagine how she helped me with that book. And it took me, well, short 23 years to finish that book. And when I started writing in 1999, there were some friends of art knew that I was doing that. And they was bugging me, when you gonna finish the book? When you gonna finish the book? I should have said in 1922, you know, if I had known. But I finished after persistence and request of my two daughters, which is standing here. This is one, my oldest daughter, Dr. Maria. What's your last name? William Slaughter. Yeah. Anyway, they read the transcript, and my wife did too, and they got on my tail about, this is history, Dad. This is my uncle. You gotta finish this. And Dodie said, you need to get off your butt and do this, you know. So, and then there was a couple of other people that got involved with the book. The filmmaker Ed Bartlett, who's from Atlanta, and his wife, Angela, finishing it. So I went on and listened to him, and I finished it 23 years later. But anyway, it's finished. They all was happy, and I was happy too, that they finished it. However, after, well, let me go to the next thing. You know, I would like to give some, I appreciate the support of my wife, Dodie, my daughter, Maria, and Teresa. Teresa's outside. And the film writer, Ed, and his wife, Angela. I really like to give them thanks for encouraging me and being behind me in that matter. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the pictures here. That shack over there is similar to what Art was born in, and the picture of him right there in the yellow shirt, that's Art with the Bakersfield Indians, you know. And then that's him when he started to umpire. And from the picture there, of course, is my family. Teresa, Maria, you gotta put it, that's my mama. And me, and my grandson Brendan, my grandson Marcus, my granddaughter, Hatia, who's away at college in Arizona. And that's my lovely wife, Dodie, of 58 years. She passed in 22 on her birthday. And I miss her, because she was my backbone. Next one. I would like to explain how art made history. There are two entities in the Major League. One is the American League, which was founded in 1901 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which has 15 teams in it. And in the American League, there was a rule that pitchers could have a designated hitter, so it would be able to hit in their place. And there are 4 umpires per each game, and they have a chief, a crew chief. Okay. All right. Thank you. Like I said, there were 4 umpires at each game, umpiring each game, 1 at first, 1 at second, 1 at third, and 1 behind the plate. And there was a crew chief per crew. And the American League first black umpire was Emmett Ashford. You guys ever heard of Emmett Ashford? Mm-hmm. All right. I had a chance to meet him too. He was the first black umpire in the American League. And he had been in the minor league for 15 years. So, he had been around, but he didn't start his major league career until April 1st, 1966 in Washington. Next slide. And now the other entity is the National League, which was founded in 1876 in Manhattan, New York. The rule for the pitcher in that league was he had to bat for himself. They included, there were 4 umpires in the league, and were the crew chief, and as you can recognize, that's my brother, right? I should say you can recognize, but that's Art's picture there. Making somebody mad, calling him out. But Art, after 4 years, Art began his major league career. And on September 18, 1972, at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. Art called his last game at the end of the season in 1976. And during his 4 years there at tenure, he was the only black in Major League. I mean, at first, he started in 66, but he retired in 70. So after Emmett, right now, here comes Art, and he was excited. We all were excited as a family. You know, he knew that a lot of eyes was upon him, and that he realized that by being the only black, his performance would determine if any other black would be at that level. He enjoyed being the first one, but he didn't want to be the last one. So he was a trailblazer, you know, and he did open up doors for other blacks to follow him. Anyway, he would personally he would do things and perform at a high level as a black umpire. And he would say things like, first of all, he was a black man that happened to be an umpire. That's why he would approach it. The American League and National League, they was 2 complete separate entities that operated independently until the year 2000. Since then, the umpires began working in both leagues simultaneously. So there's no more American League umpire and National League umpires. And in the history of Major League Baseball, there has only been 11 black umpires. Presently, there are 5. And it was not until 2020 that the Major League appointed the first black umpire crew chief, which is Kern, who has retired just recently. Next. Oh, okay, those are the name of the teams in the National League you saw. And that was my brother that was, like I say, calling somebody out. On this, okay, these are umpires here, all the black umpires and their names there. So, as you can see, Emmett was the first black one in the American League, and Art was the first one in the National League. And Eric Gregg came up to the big dance year after Art had stopped umpiring. Okay, next thing. No, this is okay. That picture, I like to point out, black and white picture there, is a picture of him, his first night of umpiring. It's his first night there. And quite naturally, that's a picture of Jack Murphy Stadium. Well, it was massive, huge structure. And that's my little wife with the blue jacket on. And that's Shirley Art's wife, my sister-in-law. And you see him in action there. Well, he was rubbing down the baseball before the first game that he umpired behind the plate. You know, so, and by him umpiring behind the plate, he had a pair of long johns that first night in San Diego, and he made a pact that he would wear that same pair of underwear every game the umpire behind the plate. But they was clean now, you know. Yeah, he made them clean. He kept them clean. Oh, a little bit more about that picture. On September 18th is when my daughter, my oldest daughter, Teresa wasn't born. My oldest daughter, my wife, and my mother-in-law, and my mother, and Art and his family, two of his boys, we all jumped in the car that morning in Bakersfield and drove to San Diego to see him perform his first Major League game. When we got to San Diego, we stopped to check in the hotel, and well, my wife and I got some outstanding news. We found out that since Art was a Major League umpire and I was his brother, I would get all his discounts. You know, we were in a room there in San Diego for $10. We were both happy, you know. So Art was happy too, but he did a lot of things for us. You know, he does that me and my family enjoy his success. You know, so he was just a good brother. Matter of fact, this young lady here and Art's kids with Dodger Stadium was their playground. At that time, you know, they can run all over the stadium, and guards knew who they were, and we had to worry about somebody snatching them up. You know, we had a lot of eyes on them, but they didn't know it. You know, so they were getting all the free hot dogs and Coke, Dodger dogs that they could eat. You know, free. You know, Harkin was free for the family, for me. Donnie and I had the opportunity to go down to the World Series when the Dodgers playing New York. Yeah, and I wasn't a Dodger fan. I'm not gonna tell you what kind of fan I am now, but I wasn't a Dodgers fan, so I was up in the stands there rooting for New York. My wife, you better set your butt down. So, but New York won, too. You know. All right. Anyway, it was about a 2-hour and a half drive from Bakersfield to San Diego, and we went and checked in the room, like I said, and drove to the ballpark, Jack Murphy Stadium, and which is only about 6 or 7 blocks away from where we stand. And my wife and Shirley and the rest of the members of the family went to the will call box to get their tickets and went on in. I went to the umpire's room with Art, and in there, when we walked in the room, there were all kind of dignitaries in there, including him and Maury Wells. He was in there. Maury Wells is still on the Dodgers, but he had his uniform on because he's going to play that evening, but he just wanted to meet Art, evidently. So Art knew most of those people, but he introduced them all to me. And after the introduction and stuff, they talked a little bit. The dignitaries and him and Maury Wells left, and the umpires had to get ready and prepared for the game. When everybody got ready, the umpires, along with me, was walking toward the tunnel and down the tunnel. And when we saw the field, Art put his strong arms around me and hugged me, and he said, "Brother," he said, "this is unbelievable. Unbelievable." And I had little tears in my eyes, I'll admit. You know, I was so happy for him. So I stood there and I watched the Art and the rest of the umpires walk onto the field, realizing that every step Art made was making history. You know, but then there were some words written on the scoreboard that before the game started, everyone had gotten in position, was read over the loudspeaker. And the words were, remember, I'm old, let me remember here, welcome Art Williams to the National Baseball League. Art received a standing ovation. Even the ball players were standing up, giving him an ovation. And that was one of the beautiful sights I've ever seen, him waving at the fans from third base. I mean, that was beautiful. San Diego had a chicken then that time running around the field. And he ran over there and messed with Art for a little while, and Art just laughed, you know. But I mean, that was something that I will never ever forget. You know, so. Art, over his career, he had umpired a total of 860 games across the United States. But I mean, I would ask him, because when I was on one of my recruiting trips, and he was umpired in Atlanta. So I stopped in Atlanta for that weekend and visited him, and he wanted to go out that Saturday morning. I went to the game that night, and the game was between the Dodgers and Atlanta Braves. That's all, Lord. But anyway, we went out and went to the game, and it was delayed. It was a delayed game because of rain, and I didn't know this. But when I got to the hotel in Atlanta, Art had told me that the ball players and umpire all got together. It was going to call that California night. So that meant that they were going to throw us a little hootie and all that stuff. When they did later, I was tired, you know, because I'd been recruiting all week. So I did go out to somewhere in the hills of Atlanta, and there was professional baseball players. One of the umpires I had seen, well, not umpire, one of the referees in football, I saw him. You know, we had a good time. Art was used to that stuff. I wasn't. The next morning, Art wanted to get up and have some soul food. So we called a cab to pick us up, and the cab driver just happened to be black, and he had a special place to take us for soul food. He did. And Art asked him to pick us up about an hour, and so he came back and picked us up. As we were on our way back to the hotel, the cab driver looked in the rearview mirror and he said, "Hey, that black umpire's in town." You know, and I said, "He is?" Also, just grinning, you know. And I said, "He is?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I would love to meet him." I said, "You would?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "This is him." He started turning around, driving. Art said, "Hey, wait, I got a game to do tonight. You know, I want to do it in one shape." So he said, "You got to be, you got to pay attention." Anyway, after we arrived at the hotel, I mean, that cab driver got out and just all over. But that was kind of the person Art was. He was just friendly, and he was a humorous person, you know. So Art asked him, "Does he like baseball?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "Would you like to come to the game tonight?" He said, "Oh, yes." And so he said, "How many people are you going to have?" He said, "Probably me and 3 others." He said, "Okay." He said, "There'll be 4 tickets at the will call box." Oh, that man, he started walking on air, you know. So, but that was the kind of person Art was. And we went on, and he went to the rest of the room. I went to the rest of the room. Remember, I was playing only $10 a night, so it was a good time. He was playing $10 too a night. But we were, I had a good in with him. I met him twice in Atlanta on my recruiting trips on the weekend. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Okay, this next slide is just about some things that has happened since this project started. Quite naturally, that picture to the left is of Art. There was a book signing in Long Beach that I went to, and I found out something that was very, I don't know if you call it good or bad, but the Emmett family knew that this was going on, Ashford in Long Beach, so they called them and requested if they can bring Emmett our paraphernalia there. And the lady I met had said, "No, this is Art. We recognize Art." So I felt pretty good. So, but anyway, there is I don't know if you guys all know Robert Price. He's a journalist here in Mexico, California. He wrote a story about art that was in Bakersfield, California, that won an Emmy. I mean, he was, when he wrote it, he told me, he said, look, he said, I'm gonna win an Emmy on this story. I said, what? I said, you gonna win an Emmy? He said, yes. He said, there's no better story out there. And it happened to be, it was true. He won an Emmy, he brought it by the house, and he was happy, and I was happy for him. So my kids calls that Uncle Art's Emmy. And it was quite nasty. Bob was keeping it, and Robert's keeping it. And the other award there, I have a picture of me that the book won first place in geography area, biography area, and for a book that was published, self-published like that, that was an amazing thing. It shocked me, you know, but it won first place among all the books that it was up against, you know. Thank you. And the other pictures with the trophy, that's one of the times that my daughter and I went to a film festival in LA, and they only select maybe about a few documentary, 4 or 5 at the most, to show at a film festival, and that's goes through a technique. I mean, there's a whole lot of people who apply to be in these film festivals, but they selected the one that Ed did, and it came in first. When I was sitting there, I saw the other documentary was made. I mean, there was a lot of money put in those documentaries. They hire professional actors and stuff, but we didn't have professional actors, you know. So, but it won first in this category there, in the sports category. So I had the trophy they gave me, and that one, the last one there is of. There's Robert. Yeah, Robert and I are buddies. He's my brother from another mother. We're friends. And my daughter Maria and what's his name? Supervisor Flores, and that's my friend Rich there. And they gave me a proclamation about the book. You know, they gave it to me because I live in the 5th district, and I had written a book, and it was doing very good. So, but anyway, moving on, we're going to. This next slide is a lot of the some of the things that the documentary won and the book won. I think that and there was Robert was very instrumental when this first started. You know, he had a big article in the newspaper, and he did a story on TV. And he was instrumental in getting that out quite well. The book was published in 2022, so it hasn't been out very long. The documentary was done in 22 also, so it has been out very long. Let's see here. There's a lot of things that has happened as far as getting things out. There's been several interviews that I've gone through, like with Spectrum, we're on the East Coast, West Coast, interviews from Northern California, and interviews. It's just been interviews up to tail, you know. But that was a good thing for my brother, because my goal was to get his name out there, and I've been blessed with that. Thanks to Lynn again.